In recent years, the Oklahoma legislature has tried to put more restrictions on abortion, with state and federal courts standing in the way. As governor, would you pursue additional abortion restrictions that have already been deemed unconstitutional?
Yeah, I think all of us here would admit that we're pro-life.
Again, this goes back to being a proven conservative.
I've always been very involved in the church.
I'm the most pro-life person in this race. I've got 6 children.
We also have other issues that we've got to concentrate on.
My brother-in-law and I furnished free rent to the Pregnancy Crisis Center in Lawton for 6 years.
Romans 13:1 tells us to follow the law of the land.
I've been meeting with Tony. I always can't pronounce his last name.
I want to grow the economy. I want to diversify the economy.
I did that as the principal author in a bill that defended life.
We've got to be able to provide alternatives.
We've got to restrict it.
I want to invest in education. I want to invest in health and infrastructure.
It's not good as to what will happen if you don't follow the law of the land.
I think the fundamental question we have to answer is, what is abortion? If it's murder, we treat it like murder. Now, we've been trying for 45 years to incrementally stop murder. Isn't it interesting that we don't try to incrementally stop bank robbery? We don't try to incrementally stop any other kind of homicide. It's just abortion. Now, I agree that the scriptures teach that we're submit to government, proper government. But when the laws of man come into conflict with the laws of God, we have a higher law that we must respond to. The Supreme Court is not infallible. It's not God. Remember in 1857 in the Dred Scott decision, they said black people weren't people at all. They were property. Were they right or wrong? Should we have complied with that? What about the Hebrew midwives that defied Pharaoh? What about the apostles refusing to obey the law and preach the gospel? What about Daniel praying anyway? Friends, we find multiple examples in Scripture where people of faith must stand up. Now, we've had a Republican majority appointed Supreme Court 3 years before Roe v. Wade, since 1970. We keep waiting on the Supreme Court to fix this, and it will never be fixed. It is time for some states to stand up and say no. This is murder. We're going to treat it as murder, and we're going to minister to those who've had an abortion. They're carrying a load of guilt. We need to minister to them. We need to help mothers who have unplanned pregnancies. But friends, we cannot treat this as any other way but murder, and any other way is a sin, I believe, to God above.